A few news stories for you is firstly a colonel of Ethiopian National Defense Force who was injured while fighting against Tigray Defense Force has died. Yesterday we saw pictures of his funeral gathering. Secondly, viewers, General Hamati of Sudan was in Ethiopia, a very important visit, 2-day visit. Last night, he went back to Sudan. Two important issues came under discussion, and one of the issues is linked to Tigray conflict. And lastly, viewers, a few hours ago, I informed you about five unofficial assurances given by Ethiopian government to aid agencies. Now we have a follow-up report for you. Getachew Reda, TPLF leader, Tigray presidential spokesperson, has released a statement about aid convoys which were supposed to be on their way from afar to Tigray. He talked about Eritrean forces as well on Abala front, and he talked about Abala front too. We'll have a detailed look at Getachew Reda's statement. Firstly, viewers, a colonel of Ethiopian National Defense Force has died. He was injured in fighting. He was injured several weeks ago, what we have heard so far. His name is Colonel Yesheber Adane. He was injured, but he succumbed to his injuries, and yesterday we saw pictures of his funeral procession in Ethiopia. On which front was he injured? What we have heard is that he was injured somewhere near Dasi Kambolcha fronts when TDF was trying to take control of Dasi and Kambolcha. Back then he was injured, now he has died. You can see pictures on your screen of Colonel Yesheber Adane's funeral procession. Now, secondly, viewers, a top Sudanese general was in Ethiopia, a 2-day visit. It was a very important visit because Sudan-Ethiopia relations have been very strained, and Ethiopia has been accusing Sudan of backing Tigray Defense Force. There have been border tensions between the two countries over Al-Fashaga and dam issue as well. Hamati his visit was 2-day visit, and last night he went back to Sudan. Ibrahim Bale, Ethiopian defense minister, said goodbye to General Hamati. Two important issues came under discussion, and we have confirmed that Tigray came under discussion. And secondly, Ethiopia-Sudan border conflict. Ethiopian government wants Sudan to seal the border. Ethiopian government has requested Hamati that no fighters from Sudan should enter Ethiopia. No fighters mean no Tigray fighters. Ethiopian government shared its reservations about the presence of some Tigray fighters on Sudan side of Sudan-Ethiopia border. We don't know what type of commitments, pledges have been given by Hamati, but Tigray conflict has come under discussion. In the coming days, we'll see, will Sudan close the border? Will it seal the border? Or will it allow some TDF activities on its side of the border? That remains to be seen. But he was very warmly welcomed in Ethiopia. PM Abiy held a meeting with him. General Burhanu Jula also met him. Defense Minister Ibrahim Bale was also there with him. So let's see, will Houthi, Sudanese army, will they launch a crackdown against Tigray fighters on Sudan side of the border? That remains to be seen, but that is what Ethiopia is expecting. And secondly, discussions were about Sudan-Ethiopia border, that the issue should be resolved through talks, through negotiation. Now, lastly, viewers, a few hours ago in a video, I told you about 5 pledges given by Ethiopian government to aid agencies. Ethiopian government pledged that UNHAS flights will be, number of these flights will be increased from 2 to 3 per week. Cash will be allowed, communication equipment will be allowed for aid agencies, and some fuel will be allowed. And lastly, it was pledged by Ethiopian government that aid convoys will resume deliveries to Tigray. And we were told that 27 aid trucks were on their way from Samra to Mekelle. What happened after that? Getachew Reda, Tigray presidential spokesperson, just a few hours ago shared a statement. He says, we were told that 27 aid convoys are on their way from Samra to Mekelle. But then we were told that that Afar regional government did not approve of these convoys, and the convoys have been told to go back. So that is what is happening. Federal government says that Afar regional government did not approve of these convoys to be sent to Mekelle because there is fighting going on Abala front. In the previous video, I told you that unless and until there is fighting on Abala front, delivery of aid to Tigray through this route is almost impossible. That is what's happening. Afar regional government has refused. It says no aid convoys will travel through Afar to Tigray through Abala, as fighting is going on there. Now, federal government is saying we're ready to send convoys of aid, but Afar regional government is not ready because regional government is not willing because there is fighting on Tigray Afar border. Getachew says that we did not start this fighting. He says it's a petty adventure, and why would TDF do this thing on Tigray Afar border? And the front has been opened by Afar forces and Eritreans to keep Tigray under siege. Once again, he talked about the presence of Eritrean forces. He claims that there is presence of Eritrean forces on Abala, Mekelle fronts, Afar, Tigray border. And the position of Tigray is that this front has been opened by Afar forces, by Eritrean forces, by Ethiopian federal government to keep Tigray under siege. He says that how is it possible that Afar government is making decisions without the consent of Addis Ababa? Both governments are in collusion, he says, and who are they fooling? They cannot fool anyone, and they want to keep Tigray under siege. So, unless and until there is fighting on Afar Tigray border, delivery of aid to Tigray is not possible because other routes from Amhara are already blocked. Amhara region stopped the supply of aid to Tigray via those routes long ago, several months ago. The only route available was this one, Afar Tigray route, and here both sides make conflicting claims. Afar says Tigray fighters are launching attacks on Abala front, on Abala town. Tigray says, why would it do that? It's a petty adventure. There is no point in attacking Afar when this is the route which is used by aid agencies for delivery of aid to Tigray. So, conflicting positions, Tigray under siege, no aid deliveries to Tigray so far seem possible. Thank you for watching.